If you've ever had to prepare for something important in conditions that weren't designed for preparing, this week it's for you. This week the pre-race for Hampton Court Palace 10K happened in Maryland, in the United States. 5 time zones from home, at 5 a.m. with jet lag, a complaining ankle and a right knee that decided to join the conversation 3 days in. The race is next weekend, the preparation is what it is, and the only honest answer to whether it was enough is the one waiting at the start line. This week I found out what the pre-race week looks like when it happens in the wrong country. I also found out that the jet lag has very strong opinions about interval training, and I found out how long it takes for a knee to choose the worst possible moment to arrive. Last week, episode 6, I told you that consistency isn't a feeling, it's a decision you make before you have all the information you need. That was easy to say from home, but this week tested whether I meant it or not. So I flew to the United States on Sunday evening for work, Annapolis, Maryland, 5 time zones behind home. I landed, found the hotel, set the alarm for 5 a.m. and tried to sleep. Here's where we are in the season, just so you are located. I've been building since January towards one specific race, Hampton Court Palace 10K, not the goal event, a baseline, the honest number that tells me where the engine actually is before the half marathon in April. After that, 2 more halves across the year. Third one is the PB attempt. That's the shape of 2026. The 10K is next weekend, which means the week I just spent in a Maryland gym at 5 a.m., 5 hours behind my own clock. That was the pre-race week. Not ideal, not planned, just the reality of a 9-to-9 job that doesn't pause for your training schedule. I'm a midlife runner, 6-7 years in, still haven't run a marathon. There have been setbacks, there always are, but the half marathon in April is the next step on that road. I train with a coach, I follow a plan. Right now the plan has more elliptical in it than I'd like and fewer kilometers than I want. Because the priority is getting me run pain-free before we build anything else. That's the context. Now here's what the week actually looked like. Monday, first morning, I did step-ups in the gym to get the legs talking. Then I just went outside for a run. -2 degrees, felt like -7, not dressed for it for sure. And the sky, I have to admit, was extraordinary though. Deep blue, completely silent, the kind of morning that doesn't happen in the UK in March. For about 10 minutes, I was just in it. The cold, the blue, and the quiet. However, my fingers stopped working and I came inside and moved to the treadmill. 1% incline, 6 miles per hour. I hit the stop button twice. The layout was different to anything I use at home, and the muscle memory kept catching up on nothing. Found the rhythm eventually because I had to. Worth mentioning, I'll come back to this in fact, I woke up with soreness in the top right area of my right ankle, not sharp, not alarming, but it was there before I'd taken a single step, which means it traveled with me. We are out for a 30 minutes easy run here in Annapolis. The day is beautiful, but it's very cold. It's -2, feeling like -7. It is so tough out here. I'm easily on my maximum heart rate at the moment. Maybe I have to go in to keep up the running. It's very cold. Let's see. Very cold. Plan has changed. I am now running from the treadmill. It's very cold outside, so I decided to slow down, come back into the hotel, and just run in the treadmill. Again, it's to maintain the 135 to 145, and let's see how it goes. Minutes in, I am now just walking a little bit. I started outside, it was too cold, I was not sufficiently dressed up. Then I came in, and then I touched the stop button twice, so my heart rate was like all over the place for sure. Yeah, but I've tried my best. 30 minutes in. By Wednesday, the time zone had me. Not broken, just heavy, the kind of heaviness that has nothing to do with what's on the training plan. The treadmill workout was mild on paper, 4 times 2-minute intervals with a minute of rest. In a normal week, that's warm-up territory. At 5 a.m. in a foreign gym, 3 days behind my own clock, it felt like the hardest bar session I've done in months. That's the jet lag tax. You can't negotiate it away, you just have to pay it. Then, straight onto the elliptical. Decreasing pairs to keep the legs quick without loading the joints. It went well, by the numbers, but partway through, the harder efforts, especially the plantar fascia on my left foot, started making itself known. Specific burn, not generalized soreness, a point complaint that stayed through the rest of the sets. Ankle from Monday, plantar from Wednesday. I'm pre-race, I'm abroad, and my body is feeling paper that I didn't ask for. There's a word for Thursday session, unsalted. It doesn't taste of nothing. You're the one pushing hard enough to feel it, not recovered enough to feel fresh. You're just there, completing the work because that's what the week generally requires. And in a pre-race week, unsalted is exactly right. You don't want stimulation 4 days from a start line. You want the engine warm up and the legs unspent. Strength, I have adapted to what the hotel gym had. This is my 4th and last day in US, and I'm in the gym, as you can see, and I'm going to do today strength. It's a double day, strength and elliptical, and that's it. Let's see how it goes. It's another day. Elliptical instead of planned elliptical plus rowing, because there was no rowing machine, so close enough, just elliptical. But here's the thing I want to say about 4 consecutive 5 a.m. mornings in an unfamiliar room. At home, you have contextual cues everywhere. Your kit in the same spot, your routes memorized. You can operate in everything in the dark. None of these exists in an hotel. You override the blank state every single morning. By Thursday, that overhead was sitting heavier than the jet lag. But I went anyway. I landed back Friday morning, UK time, slept Saturday afternoon. I just laced up for the long run. This was the last run before Hampton Court, the final session before the race. Not a confidence builder, just the last page of the pre-race chapter. Grey skies, temperature perfect for running, 1 hour easy, heart rate between 135 and 145. The same formula I've been running since January. The right knee anyway showed up about 20 minutes in, a 2 out of 10 pain, noticeable, manageable, not serious. It had actually been there for the previous 3 days, I just hadn't mentioned it. It behaved through the full hour and afterward. but it didn't leave. And here's what's sitting with me more than the knee. The long run pace is dropping. I'm working the same aerobic effort, the same heart rate. I've been disciplining myself to stay in since January and going less far per mile than I was 8 weeks ago. I know what the coaching answer is. Zone 2 development takes months. You get slower before you get faster. The pace comes when the engine is ready. Knowing that doesn't entirely silence the voice that's been doing arithmetic on 10K pace all week.
I am absolutely buzzing with the fact that I'm working out running today. My knee pain has been a little bit strange. I don't know why I have it, I have to admit. I'm slightly confused about this knee pain I've been having these days. It is in the interior of the patella, not below the patella. I never had this pain before. So I'm trying to learn about what it is. Let's see how it goes. The idea is, if the pain goes very sharp, I will then stop running immediately. I think it's the best approach to take. And let's see. Good news is we are out and about and it should be all okay. At least I believe so. This is meant to be an easy run. Every time I take this camera on, my heart rate goes up massively, but I think it's normal. So let's see how it goes. We have yet a few more minutes ahead of us, maybe around 7 kilometers, maximum 8.
9.21 kilometers, 60 minutes, heart rate in the zone the whole way, knee managing, the body carrying the weight of a transatlantic week, and I still completed the work. I stopped and stood there for a moment at the end. Grey sky, familiar street, home. The training is in the bank, whatever it added up to. It's done. I did 4 sessions in Annapolis at 5 a.m. in a gym I'd never seen in a pre-race week, with everything trying to make it harder. Then I came home and run an hour easy. Incredible. The ankle is still there, the knee is still there, the plantar made an appearance, the paces are going the wrong direction at the same heart rate, and none of this is new information. All of this, in fact, was part of the story last week in episode 6. What is new is this: the race is in 7 days and the preparation is no longer something I'm building. It's something I'm arriving with. The hook last week, episode 6, was I was doing everything right and my body wasn't getting the memo. The body's response was to send me to a different country for the pre-race week and give me jet lag, an ankle, a plantar, and the knee that has reading material. Very, very, very funny. Here's what I actually take from it. The sessions weren't impressive, the mileage was low, the performance were unremarkable, but not one session was missed. Monday to Thursday, 4 mornings at 5 a.m., blank slate, everything trying to talk to me out of it. I said last week that consistency isn't a feeling, it's a decision you make before you have all the information you need. This week put that to the test across the ocean. The decision was held anyway. Hampton Court Palace 10K is next weekend. It's the baseline, the first honest answer to everything I've been building since January. And then April, the first half marathon, and then the end of the year to attempt the PB. I don't know what the race will say. I also don't know what the knee does when the pace goes up. And I also don't know how much this travel week will cost me. But I know who shows up at the start line. That will be me. Again, as always, no matter what, go out and run. See you at Hampton Court. So if this week looked like yours, the wrong conditions, but the right decisions, just drop a comment below. I read everyone. And if you want to follow up what happens in Hampton Court, subscribe for episode 8 is the race episode, and whatever the time says, it will be completely unfiltered for you. Thank you very much. See you on the next one.
I will stand and sing. Oh, 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 oh.